Critical Discourse, week 1, take 3. Alright, the first thing we want to talk about is structure of the bell schedules and stuff, and thoughts on it possibly impeding creativity. And anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, someone could be someone could be writing down a paper and they could be really into it, and then all of a sudden the bell rings and they have to move to math, or all of a sudden the teacher's like, "Hey, wrap it up," and then you're moving on to math. And their flow was in the writing.
Yeah, that's not how it happens.
But
like,
how do
in
you
the real world,
How do you
right?
fix that?
Yeah.
It's not what happens in the workplace.
Yeah, because if you're working on like a project or like an
Or
assignment
even
or
working
whatever,
at a job,
you just
still
keep
continue
going.
to go until
Yeah, but like I know, for example, my mom like gets paid salary, so it's kind of like she gets paid the amount that she works. So like for her, like if she's like in a train of like working on something, she'll keep going until she's done.
For sure.
So that means staying later until after, like when she usually goes home, and that's what it means. You guys visited Montessori school?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like what it was like at Montessori, because they, like there was set like kind of, I don't know if there was bells, I can't remember.
And
But they had,
really.
like-
the whole morning was just like working. And
Yeah,
it was
and they
like
had like
the checklist.
checklists, and then they would work and do like math until they were done it, and then they would just like check it off and then move on to the next thing, and they didn't need the teacher's approval, and they just went and grabbed their next activity or like assignment or like
I like the checklist.
workbook.
Yeah.
and,
It's
like,
whatever they were feeling like they wanted to do in the moment, or whatever was what creative
Interesting
juices were
them.
flowing. Yeah, exactly. The only downside I think to that is the fact that if the child was just like, no, I don't feel like doing anything today. Well, it's free work time, so I guess if that's what you feel like
But how do
doing,
you
then
how do you think you're gonna structure it anyways? Like I think you somehow you need a bell or something. You know what I mean? Like you can't have kids coming in on their own.
yeah, just doing whatever
I want
for
to go
how
to
long.
school today, or I don't.
Yeah.
Or like it also is like what pushes you to go to school. Like
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really like the whole Montessori thing, 100%.
I don't really. That's
I
why
get
that's why
the
I'm kind of
idea
like,
of
it's-
it.
I get the point of it, but I just don't know if I.
It's one thing to have the whole class
Right.
working on something that they can all like ask each other about and stuff like that. It's another thing to have 3 grades incorporated into one, and then have students doing random subjects.
it's
Yeah.
kind of the same as like homeschooling, I guess. Like if you have an older sibling or whatever at homeschool,
Yeah, you all do
you all
Yeah.
do it together, right?
and
like,
they could help each other.
and it's an independent study at home too. But I don't know. There's pros and cons to homeschooling, I think.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with homeschooling?
Well, the big no for me is the fact is the social aspect of it. Yeah, I haven't heard that one before, hey? The fact that the only, like, I mean, you make some friends if you do like activities outside of your house.
And
and
it's the job of the parent to make sure those kind of things happen.
Exactly, but if
So-
the parent's not interested and it doesn't put the effort in,
And it's
and
like
they're
how
just in the house with like the siblings and the parent every day, they're not like
they don't
get-
have
know how
interaction
to
with anyone, but not
adapt
just that.
and
I
but
think it'd be kind of
social
cool if, like,
awkward
say, like,
situations even they don't get used to.
you were in like a homeschool neighborhood, far-fetched. You were in like a homeschool neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, like it's like around like 1 o'clock. It's like, oh guys, like go play with your friends, or like
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
like
two
I
homeschool
think,
families get together every day and play.
but
for
I
an hour.
honestly think something can be done to like make the homeschooling thing better, because kids, there's so many out of school activities that parents can put their kids in nowadays, that they can get the social aspect of school
Yeah.
through all those activities.
And then at 3:45 they go off
I
to
just-
dance, hockey,
exactly.
Yeah,
gymnastics.
the other thing though is like I know like my parents work during the day, so like they wouldn't be able to be at home to homeschool me because they have to make a living so
but
that
not
I
just
can
that, but it's like
survive.
what am I gonna say? It's like how what if a parent that's homeschooling just teaches them, says this is what you gotta do. Okay, if you have questions, come ask me, but I'm gonna go do laundry, I'm gonna go clean. Like
Yeah, they don't put
teacher
100%
needs
into
to, or
it.
the teacher, or who's the parent, needs to
Yeah.
be like involved and 100% into it, just as
Yeah.
the kid is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Which
for
like
sure.
goes into like, weren't you saying in our attempt 1 about people you tutor?
Yes, there's 2 kids I tutor on Mondays, and they're 7 and 8, and I felt they were actually behind where they should have been in the education system.
Which is
Weird.
Is-
Like they
is-
were so learning to like
interesting.
pronunciate their words and like sound it out.
That's
and
interesting
Read words.
because it like contradicts the article, because the article said that most homeschool children seem to be 5 or 10 years ahead of their formally trained peers in their ability to think.
And I had a friend who, like, going back onto the whole interaction thing, found it hard because he was homeschooled all the way up until grade 9 from his mom, but same with his sister, and they came into a high school in grade 9 and she was in grade 7 or whatever, or she waited
that's
until
a hard
grade 9.
to go into.
And so it was,
Yeah.
everyone already had established their friends before, and he like found us as a group of friends, but found it hard to interact with us and getting to on that social level, but he was cognitively there and like really smart and stuff. So
It's just, I think it's the social aspect is the big thing for homeschooling.
Mhm.
And even if you do get them like together with other homeschooling, they're still not used to being in like the classroom with all those other kids. It's a different situation. And then it would be tougher, I think, to go to university and such afterwards because you can't do homeschooling university.
but it's cool though how like you can say like in school how you're doing a lesson on penguins or whatever, and
Yeah.
then Johnny at home.
You could do it on polar bears instead.
Yeah, because that's what interests him, and
Yeah.
he's gonna get more like benefit out of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For
like
sure.
you get to choose what you want.
I think
Um,
this like homeschooling shows like what a big influence
Family?
home and families have on
Yeah.
education.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I think that needs to be like how he was saying in his thing, like how family needs to be brought back into education, and
for
it needs
sure.
to also be brought back into
There was
school.
this quote in the article that I really liked. It was called
really.
"Family is the main engine of education."
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good
that's
one.
very true. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's without the support of your family, your parents, guardians, or whoever it is at home, your siblings, with reading and spelling and math and just even school in general. I think it's definitely tougher for kids to succeed and to do well, and even to feel good about the stuff they're doing, and to realize that it's important to work hard and apply themselves in school. Like family and everything plays a very important role in that.
And like having like with so much extracurricular activities nowadays, family is definitely less of a picture because people are in sports, they're in dance, so you don't have like dinner discussions about what did you learn in school today, or like what fun things did you do in school today.
My family used to do this thing called high-low, where we would all sit down at the dinner table and we would all have to share one thing that went well about our day and then one thing that didn't.
That's cool.
I like that.
I think it's like
I
even like to
hated
this
it.
day, like
I hated it. I went to school and I got home. Those would be mine.
I think it's like good though to have like
your
a family dinner. I think is important.
Yeah,
Like, every
definitely.
night. Like I don't think there is that anymore. Like I don't think the family aspect of everyone's always busy and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But I think it's really important to fit in that family
Or
time.
reading
Like
a book to
if
your
it's a
child,
dinner or
yeah.
if it's
or them
a
reading to
movie
you.
night or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Just
like,
to
I think
A
connect.
that's
family night. where we
And show them that
games.
you care.
Exactly.
And that you're interested in what they're doing and that
And
what they're
supporting
doing.
them
Yeah,
behind
totally.
them.
I
So that they
totally.
feel
And that they
successful.
feel like they're motivated. They're motivated to continue learning and to continue to come home and be like, Mom, Dad, this is what I did today. Like,
Which is what we've
pushing-
been talking about in psychology, like
Instead of the
motivation
parents
and what
never being
motivates
home,
you.
Yeah.
and the kids just like, oh, school doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
they
my
don't
parents never
care. Yeah.
so how about how like schools have changed over time? Like how about like learning what
Well,
it was
learning,
back then, or
yeah.
like how what
Learning, I
is
think
now,
students used to learn a lot more practical stuff, like
'Cause
that
there's
they
so
would,
much
that
now
they would
that-
use,
yeah.
that they would need like for actual, like for their
Yeah.
actual life in
Because
school.
there's so
like
much
school
like
came,
right.
it didn't come first. It, like,
Well, there's
came
so much
second.
now that like
Yeah.
half the things like,
Yeah.
in high school, middle school, it's like, why am I learning this?
Yeah,
I'm never
totally.
gonna learn it in
It
my
talked
life.
about in the article, it was like, but keep in mind that in the United States, almost nobody who reads, writes, and does arithmetic gets much respect. We are the land of talkers. We pay talkers the most and admire talkers the most. And so our children talk constantly, following the public models of television and school teachers. It is very difficult to teach the basics anymore because they really aren't the basics to the society.
It's true, and like
Yeah.
we need those basics in society. And how, like, do you know how many kids like if there was no home ec class, like home ec is one of the like I think it's an important class. Like that's
Yeah,
how
I
you
do
learn
too.
to cook.
We
you
have
I
learn
think
to
it
have
should
to
be
do it in
required
middle
for
school.
longer.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
like a whole bunch of things
You-
like that.
Cook to eat to live.
Well, and really even a
Or a
sewing
finance
class.
class
Yeah.
in high school.
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
really,
Like,
a,
you're
like a
interested.
sewing
Like-
class. It's important to know. You know what?
Planning should
If
be
my
taken more
sweatshirt
seriously,
rips,
planning, yeah.
like I know how to fix it, right? So
minute.
I think also stuff like how to write a resume and how to apply for
Totally.
a job
Yeah.
and how to
Things
how to
that are
rent
like-
an apartment, that kind of stuff.
Well,
which
like,
is a
it's
part of
hard
planning.
though. It's hard though because you want to be able to teach those things, but it's like how are you going to break down and filter kids into you want to be this or you want to be this, and like kids don't know it at any
Yeah.
age what
But
they want to be.
but
You
I guess-
have to.
You can just teach them more like general life
Yeah,
skills,
that's
I
true.
guess,
Yeah.
right? Not like you
Have
want
them
to
I
be.
in carpentry
teachers
and
are-
Yeah,
housing.
you want to be a teacher,
Kids
so you
these
need
days
nice
are
writing.
so like reliant on their parents and stuff.
Yeah.
They need to have more responsibility.
And I think, but I
I
think
know we're
also
trying to end
going
this,
in
yeah.
if you're like with the whole new curriculum coming out, like I think that I hope it kind of like changes in that sense and it kind of relates to personal and like reflecting on everyday life. But like I think like the older teachers are not going to want to change, which I think is
Yeah.
hard because it's going to be like mixed kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just
I
quickly,
think we should
I
get
think
more like volunteering and
Yeah,
it's
I
really
agree.
important to show them like
how he said that community service
Yeah.
and stuff. I think it's very
Yeah,
important.
same.
I really like that.
Quickly, what schools do to children? All right, there we go.
What do schools do?
What
to
schools
children?
do to children? He had a list of 8 things, I believe it was. So
yes.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with all these, but no one wants to grow up these days. Children have almost no curiosity, cannot concentrate very long, have a poor sense of the future, of how tomorrow is linked to tomorrow, or to today, have no sense of how past predestined their own present, limits their choices, shaping their values and lives. They are cruel to each other, lack compassion for misfortune, laugh at weakness, and have contempt for people who need help.
Yeah.
Uneasy with intimacy,
Materialistic
following the leader of the
eagerness.
teachers who materialistically grade everyone. They're dependent, passive, and timid in the presence of new challenges.
Dependent is a huge one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's benefits to, obviously, because we're going to be teachers, to going to school and to classrooms. But I think there is definitely some things that could be fixed or worked on
For sure.
Yeah.
on those 8 things there.
And I think
so.
I think we chose a good time to become future teachers because this is when it's changing.
Yeah, so we can change it.
Attempt 3 done.